Hi, and welcome to the SaVeg podcast.
I'm Rose, also known as Cheap Lazy Vegan on YouTube.
And I'm Daniel, one of your favorite guest stars on Cheap Lazy Vegan's YouTube channel.
We're two friends who love to talk about the latest trending topics.
So get comfortable and join us while we give our SaVeg take on just about everything.
You are currently listening to the previous episode of this podcast, but if you would like to listen to this week's episode and get some exclusive content, go over to patreon.com/thesavagepodcast. Hello, everybody.
Wait,
I stole Daniel's intro.
I wasn't ready, Rose.
I know, that's why I came in, because I know you like to do the intro all the time.
You came in like a wrecking ball. That's for damn sure, Rose. Okay, let's start again. I wasn't prepared.
Hi, let's start again.
Okay, I'll let you do it. Go ahead.
Well, I mean, you just ruined it for me. But hi, everybody. We are back with the SaVeg podcast.
Yes.
I'm here with my lovely co-host, who I have not seen for like a week.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Which is kind of weird.
It is weird because we used to be neighbors.
I mean, we are still not really neighbors.
No, we're not.
That's
you
true.
were like across the street. I could see your build. Like if I sat on my balcony, I could like see Rose's building.
It's funny because I used to complain about you wanting to move to like that kind of area. Actually, you know what? I allowed you to live in that area.
What area?
The area that I live in now.
Oh,
because there was like another neighborhood that was like, you know,
the one you always forget the name of.
Yes.
Which you still forbid me to live in.
Yes.
Even though it's like
the whole point was like we used to live in this neighborhood. Like I used to live like right next to Daniel. Mm-hmm. And I moved like maybe 30-minute walk from you now. And I used to tell you not to move 30-minute walk away.
Exactly. You're like, do not move to this neighborhood because
it's basically way out in the middle of nowhere.
Which it's not. It's inner city. Very much so.
Sure. But anyways, I'm basically like a wannabe New Yorker trapped in this godforsaken city.
How are you liking life in your area?
In my new area?
Yeah.
It's nice. I haven't had time to enjoy it so much because I've been so go. And I've been unpacking like a motherfucker.
Which unpacking takes a while, doesn't it?
Apparently I'm a hoarder.
Yeah, I mean, that's accurate. I saw when you were moving how much shit you had.
Okay, but who knew I could fit so much in a tiny little apartment is another question.
Well, this is it. You know, because the place you have now is so much bigger than where you were living before.
And it's still like I'm still struggling to find. You know what? I have an issue.
Yeah.
Every time I pack, I feel like more shit just gets added to the pile. And well, you know what? I'm making a donation pile. Here's the thing.
That's good.
Before I moved, if I had time, I could have, gone through my stuff, done the Marie Kondo shit, Yeah. You know the Marie Kondo?
Yeah, the lady that does the downsizing and stuff.
Yeah,
right?
The Japanese lady. Yeah. Okay. So I was going to Marie Kondo my shit, but I didn't have time to Marie Kondo it.
You were going to Marie Kondo your condo.
Yes, I was going to do that, yes. It's called the KonMari method, Daniel, I think.
I like it. Well, I practice the KonMari method.
You do not. You also like to hoard.
I do not. I barely have anything in my apartment.
I mean, that's because you just moved from the UK.
Yeah, true. I mean.
But remember the moment when I went to visit you in the UK after I moved back to Canada.
I still didn't have much stuff.
Okay, maybe you don't hoard, but you keep like basically garbage.
Oh my God, I do not
Guys,
tell people I keep garbage, okay?
I mean,
that's not true.
What did you keep in your apartment?
I had an old pair of like slippers that you get on the airplane. They were still working though. They weren't
They
garbage.
were not working. They were full on broken.
They were not.
And they were there since the moment before me and my friend had left. Me and Chrissy had left. And basically we like left a bunch of stuff in our apartment to probably be thrown out.
I also had
You had like other shit.
I had Chrissy's robe.
Like a bathrobe again from like a hotel that she stole.
Yeah, and I also had
oh God, that's theft.
It is theft. You just outed our friend. Hopefully
nobody knows her.
Exactly.
Anyways.
And also I had you guys' towels that you guys had.
You know what? Towels I will let slide. They were functioning. You were,
we won't say where you acquired those towels either.
I did not. It was all my friend.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways.
That's what they always say, guys.
You guys, anyway. I am not a criminal. Anyways, those were towels that were left over. Okay.
Yep. Okay. Yeah. Anyway, so yeah.
We had all these other little trinkets that we had left that were meant to be, thrown out.
Yeah. I reduce, reuse, and recycle. That's what I always say. And I think
you don't reduce though. You just reuse.
I'm reusing, and in that way, I'm reducing because I'm not having to buy more things.
See, this is the thing. This is my justification for not throwing away certain things. Because I'm like, if I throw this away, like for example, okay, when I was moving out, I was I lived with my roommate and we needed so we had some certain cleaning supplies, right, that we had acquired, you know, from living and cleaning our old apartment. So we had some cleaning supplies. And then one of our friends had moved back to her home country. She left us a bunch of cleaning supplies. So we have like this huge pile of cleaning supplies. And I just took it all. Because I'm like, a part of me was like, maybe I should like throw some of this out.
No, because then it's like you're going to use it, right? So
that's the thing. That's how I acquire a lot of things.
Yeah. So then you just never have to buy, you're not going to have to buy cleaning supplies for like 4
I know,
years.
right? But like that multiplied by a lot of kitchen things.
Yeah.
And a lot of other things.
This is true. A lot of other things.
Oh God, you know, I don't like this judgment, you guys. Okay.
I know, I'm sorry. I'm not
I live in a scarcity mindset. Okay.
Yeah. Well, I do as well, you know. That's why that's
why you keep
I keep things for
not even free airport slippers.
That was
airline slippers. You know those free ones that you get
really
on like Air
ones.
Canada? Yes.
Yeah.
The ones that you're supposed to wear on the plane and then just like leave and toss. Yeah.
But this is part of the problem with our society. It's so like disposable.
I mean, yes, it was a disposable product, and I do have a problem. I wonder what they do with those slippers, though. Do they reuse them?
No, definitely not.
Yet you used them for 3 years.
Yeah, doing my part, Rose. I brought them on planes with me.
Oh God,
so
you guys.
every time they came around and they were like, "Do you need?"
And you wore them in your apartment. You wore them all around an airplane, and then you would wear them on all kinds of airplanes, and then you decided to bring all that dirt back into your apartment. Anyway,
reduce, reuse, recycle.
If you were not vaccinated, I would be very concerned for you.
Why?
I don't know.
I built up a natural immunity from that. You know,
that's true. Anyway, you guys, we got to do some Patreon shout outs.
Yeah.
And I think I'm going to let Daniel take the first one because
no.
Because I do believe it is a Korean name.
Yeah, and you're doing that because Rose had said earlier that she was going to do this one, and then I was joking.
Just do it.
Kyeon Woo Kim.
Oh, you're so cute when you try to speak Korean. So
how would you say
if I said it in a English accent, I would say Kyeon Woo Kim.
Yeah.
But in Korean, it would be Kim Kyunwoo.
Ah,
there you go.
Very nice.
Okay, and then who's the next lovely patron that we have here?
Nita.
Nita or Nada? Nita?
Nita, I think.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, thanks for joining our little Patreon.
Thanks for joining Patreon once again. If you guys want to join us on Patreon, it is patreon.com/TheSavagePodcast. You get a bonus episode every single month.
Yeah. What was our latest bonus episode, Rose? What was the joy that we were bringing to Patreon?
The joy that we brought to Patreon was us responding to interesting comments.
Yeah.
Yes.
Let's leave it at interesting comments. And
you guys know I have no filter, especially on Patreon.
No. Neither do I. Because some comments, because obviously, you guys, we do read your comments on YouTube, and we, love getting the comments and stuff. And,
most are lovely.
Yeah, most are. But, you get the off one. And actually, like, even just the other day, we're not going to go into we're not going to talk about vaccines. We're not going to talk about any of this stuff.
We're not doing any of that.
Just at a high level, like, it's just, guys, it's frustrating. But anyway.
Oh, God. Yeah, we're not getting into it.
We're not going to get into it.
We're not talking about vaccines.
We're not. So. Oh, God damn, you're putting the pressures on me.
Well, we just discussed. I need to talk about this.
I know. So, guys, if you haven't already, okay, so we have a few different things we're going to talk about today.
People.
Oh,
I'm freaking out about this.
I think all of Canada is freaking out about this.
It literally happened in like a week.
Yeah. So,
guys, we're talking about
Squid Game.
Oh my God. My friends, have you watched it? Have you watched it?
You need to watch it.
I'm in the middle of it. I'm on episode 5. I just finished episode 5. I'm convinced I'm going to finish it tonight, although it is like very intense.
Oh, it's so intense.
This is how I heard about it. Did I tell you to watch it?
I don't think so, no. I'm pretty sure.
I think I did. Or no, did you watch it before I told you?
Yeah, because then I messaged you and I told you about it and you said your parents had told you about it.
Yeah, okay. Anyway, either way, basically my mom was like, did you watch Squid Game? I was like, what the fuck? I haven't like looked at Netflix for like a week. And apparently that's long enough for something to go trending so quickly. So
it's like Tiger King all over again, but
even better and like much more, I don't know, crazy.
Yeah.
Like this type of like hype. Yeah, I'm trying to think. Was Tiger King this much hype?
It was huge. Yeah, Tiger King was a lot of hype. Like it was like overnight as well.
But not as much as this, I don't think. I think this is like one of the it's like record breaking.
Yeah, I think it's like number one.
Exactly. This
globally.
One's like record breaking.
Yeah.
Anyways, so my mom was like, you should watch it. Oh my God. It's like a Korean show and it's like it's like a very symbolic show.
Yes. Yeah.
We're not going to give you any spoilers, don't worry. But
Maybe,
also,
maybe you did tell me about it. I don't know.
I think I did because I think she told me, and
Yeah.
I was like, "Did you watch
Oh,
Squid Game?"
yes,
And then you were like, "Oh, I've been looking at it on Netflix,
Yes, yeah.
but I haven't watched it."
Yeah.
And then I was like, "Oh my god, apparently we need to watch it." So then you watched it. I think before I started watching it.
Yeah.
So I started watching it. Oh god, you guys! I wish I could talk about it, and I kind of want to do our Patreon exclusive talking about this show once I finish it. Because we got to dive deep.
Oh God, guys,
there's a lot of deep diving that needs to happen.
The thing that I love about this show, and actually it's from the last like few Korean like movies and TV shows that I've seen, there's been so many levels and layers. Like,
yes,
if you think about like Parasite's another perfect example.
Yes,
of like just everything is so well thought out and just so like, I don't know, there's so many elements to it, and I feel like Squid Game is a lot like that. Like, there's so many. I'm not going to go into it too much, but like so many like trending or not trending. It's so many like societal topics, right?
Like
so,
issues within society, things that we talk about, like, problems with capitalism, problems with extreme, wealth inequality. Yeah. So, and I think that happens. Me and my mom were discussing this, and I think it happens especially maybe specifically in Korean media. And I'm sure obviously other medias as well, but like Korean people right now, it's definitely a very socially unequal society. So I think that kind of brings about sort of, a lot of difficulties that then get translated into really like great pieces of art. Like when people go through like tragedy, I feel like a lot of like art comes from that. True. Because then you become very, I don't know, creative, and you have something to write about.
This is true. And that was like, I feel like, again, going back to Parasite.
Oh God, Parasite,
but that was
also
such a good film, guys.
Oh, that's so good.
If you haven't seen it, definitely go watch it. I think we did a whole episode.
I think
on
we
it,
did.
Yeah.
We were like I was freaking out about Parasite
because it was so good. And again, it was all this whole idea of like some of the like inequality in society, how it's portrayed. It was just so beautifully done. And I think, like, I don't know too much about like Korea, but like, is there not like a large middle class there, or is it like one of those societies now where it's the middle class is really being pushed out?
I think so.
And you have like extremely wealthy, and then like extremely poor.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it's not so insane, like, but it's definitely, first of all, it's very hard. There isn't as much of like a social welfare system. Yeah. So it's kind of very like dog eat dog world kind of thing, right?
Like they don't have like benefits and stuff, right?
Yeah, they do, but not as it's not like Canada. Yeah. Okay. So I feel like Canada has a very good welfare system and very good like social security. Whereas in Korea, it's like, especially let's say for like old people, I don't think they have much of like a pension system. Oh God. Like it's very like a lot of, I think the highest suicide rates are among like the senior citizens because they don't really have much hope. And if their kids, because like, so basically back in the day when like my parents were, younger and stuff, basically the culture was like, you have kids and then you take care of your kids. And when your kids grow up, they take care of you. Yeah. So it's kind of like the government doesn't take care of you. Your kids are supposed to take care of you. But then as things started getting more difficult, it became more of a capitalist society. People started, living differently. It's not as traditional, right? So then those traditions fall a little bit, but then the government doesn't have the necessary kind of systems in place to take care of, for example, the grandparents that don't get the kids that take care of them. Because kids already, they have their own kids to worry about.
Well, this is what I was going to say. Like, I feel like, especially in those kind of societies, and I think it's a lot of like Asian cultures actually where, you're kind of expected to take care of your elders. And you're right. Maybe back in the day, it worked a little bit better. I don't know exactly, but like now it's like even in Canada, for example, like everything is just getting so much more expensive, right? Like,
yeah, that's another thing.
People, especially like even middle class or whatever, we're starting to get like stretched more and more. And like, I think to myself, I'm like, if I had a family right now and kids, to be in that not middle limbo, but like being a parent yourself plus having your parents live with you. Yeah. That's a lot of financial burden. Exactly. And actually like nowadays it's like people can't, like, I mean, I don't know if they could afford it back then either, but it's becoming more difficult, I feel like, financially to do that.
And especially because like, children's education in Korea is also very expensive because they put a lot of pressure on kids to study. Yeah. So you have to like take them through like tutoring and like outside of school studying. So that's also very expensive. And if you don't do that, then your kids are going to fall behind.
And then they won't get jobs.
Exactly. And because every kid, and they also have to go to the best schools. And it's just like a lot of pressure. Yeah. And I mean, that's probably one of the reasons why my parents left, because it was kind of going in that direction. And it's worse than ever. I think now people are having a hard time finding jobs. Yeah. And and they don't pay a lot. It's just like very just negative. I think Squid Game definitely touches, and same with Parasite.
Yeah.
Touches on a lot of those topics, and it's really interesting.
Yeah.
Oh God, I want to talk about it more.
I know, it's really good, guys. I feel like
Daniel, you just finished it today.
Yeah, I did. Well, no, yeah.
Was it today?
No, it wasn't today. Yesterday.
Was it yesterday? God damn! What time? How many episodes you watched yesterday?
Like 7.
Did you actually?
No, I don't think it was that many. Maybe like 3.
My palms were sweating, man.
I know, it was
my
intense.
feet were sweating. Each episode, the entire episode, I'm sweating.
Yeah, it was. You know what? It's because like I didn't know what to expect. Even that first episode. So like, guys, do a favor to yourselves. Go watch that first episode. And literally at the beginning, it kind of started a little bit slow for me.
Yeah.
Like initially, I was
you weren't like sure what was happening.
Exactly, and I was kind of like, oh, where is this going? Like, it's okay so far,
Sure.
but like, and then towards the end of the first episode, you're like, oh, because
you're like, what just happened? Things happen in like 5 minutes.
Yeah, and you just didn't expect it to go the way that it goes. And after that, you're just kind of left like, holy fuck.
What just happened?
Yeah. And then the rest of the series is like that. It's just like constant like, you know, oh my God.
There's so many different themes. Oh, I want to talk about it so bad, but we won't.
Even just wait till the end.
Yes. I know. I heard that there's a lot of twists and things happening. I'm like,
there better be a season 2.
I think there will. My mom said there was probably going to be a season 2.
Oh yeah, with this much hype.
Yeah.
Apparently, so I didn't actually include this in the stories that I wanted to talk about, but we can talk about it anyway. But I don't fully know how like streaming services and internet providers work over in Korea.
Yeah.
But and in Asia, but I guess like certain like services like Netflix or Amazon or one of these like streaming services, they have to pay some kind of like kickback or extra like thing to use their like
okay,
to use their lines,
the network or something.
The network.
Okay,
and I guess Netflix hasn't been paying it in South Korea.
Oh,
but partly because they haven't been asked to or whatever, but because of this like the huge hype around this show, apparently like the network sites and stuff have been like over like flooded with traffic,
right,
to the point where they're like, okay, well, Netflix, you're gonna have to start paying your share of like kickback or whatever it is.
Interesting,
because of how many people are streaming.
Oh my God, it's actually insane, and it happens so fast.
Yeah,
like this shit came out like I heard like end of September.
Yeah
So
it's basically like overnight.
Essentially, yeah.
Pretty much. Because I kept seeing it on my Netflix, and I was like, oh, well. And then you told me, you're like, oh, my mom said it's really good. She said it's a social commentary on like capitalism, and that's why I was like, yeah, I have to watch it. I have to watch it now.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was.
Yeah, as soon as my mom told me, I started seeing the like Squid Game everywhere, and I was like, oh my God, okay, I have to actually watch it.
It's number 1 in Canada. Well,
I think it's number 1 in almost like in a lot of countries. Yeah, which is kind of crazy.
It's insane.
Oh God.
But I think it's because of the message and everything. Like even if you just, obviously the story itself is like, whoa, it's so crazy. But then the message and everything that's linked to it as well.
There's a lot of themes.
I think people can relate.
Exactly.
Yeah, they can relate to a lot of it. So.
Oh God, there's so much to discuss.
Yeah.
We'll save it for the Patreon exclusive once I finish.
Yeah.
That one's going to be Patreon exclusive of October. We have to do it.
Okay, we'll do that.
We have to do it, guys. Okay.
Actually, you know what? I'm going to kind of change the order of that I wanted to talk about these stories.
Ooh, okay.
Because
is this related?
It's kind of related because it's like, I don't know if you heard about this, but
okay, tell me.
Do you remember when there was like a massive leak of the Panama Papers?
No, when was this?
Okay, so it's like 4 or 5 years ago. And basically what the Panama Papers, they like coined the term the Panama Papers. And I guess I don't really know fully about exactly how the leak happened or whatever else, but you know how like there's a lot of like offshore tax havens and stuff, like countries where you can like put money and hide it essentially, right?
Yeah.
And the Panama Papers was just basically a huge leak that like showed a bunch of like wealthy people and where they're hiding their money, and some of it legal, so a lot of it illegal. And it was like, you know, politicians and all of this like crazy shit. People were like up in arms. And this was like 5 years ago. Now there's been another leak.
Oh shit. Guys, I've not been paying attention to the news.
Oh god damn, Rose.
This be my weekly source of news.
So so the Panama Papers came to light 5 years ago. And at the time, a bunch of world leaders said that they were pledged to crack down on these taxes.
Oh yeah, right. They're part of it. Are you kidding?
I know, but this is the funny thing. So, you know, when we published the Panama Papers a few years ago, this is this article that we're reading, there was a lot of outcry around the world saying that this was a system that needed to end, right? Because again, like never, and we always like reinforce this, but like we're never saying like, oh, that person is not entitled to make good money and whatever else, but pay your fair dues.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? It's not fair that like some people have the financial means to be able to hide their money. And not that saying that I would want to do this anyway, but like, why do you think that's okay? You know what I mean? You're making, especially when like you're in a country like Canada, you benefit from, you know, the infrastructure and everything that we have here. Yet you move your money to like an offshore account. Your funny money, and don't pay your fair taxes. And
that's how they make more money. This is the thing, because now they have more money. It's just so fucking anyway.
It's a vicious cycle.
So now it's Panama Papers numero dos.
Yeah. And they're calling it Pandora Papers.
Oh shit.
Because it's like a bigger leak this time.
Oh my God.
There's more people involved, and it's actually
are
crazy.
we even surprised though at this point? Like, this is like well-known information. That's what's crazy.
This is the thing, is like we are getting more and more of this stuff, and people are like, oh, okay, wow, like people are still doing this. Surprise, surprise. And it's funny because they commented like here, they're saying, okay, you know, there was an outcry for the world saying the system needs to end, but we're now seeing the very people who could end the system, are they themselves benefiting from it?
Of course.
So like, how can we expect any kind of change if the people from the top are hiding their money there as well?
Exactly.
And like the thing is they're saying like in this article as well, there's nothing necessarily illegal about having your money in an offshore bank account.
Sure.
But as long as you're properly declaring this money to your tax authorities.
Okay.
But the issue is, because these countries, they have like less restrictions and less legislation, you can easily hide this money in like a trust or a shell company. So that the beneficial owners, it's like harder to find out who it is.
Yeah.
And that's how they get away with it.
So
and
they pay like no taxes, essentially.
Exactly. They can like hide large amounts of money where, you know, it's just the whole
God,
system.
greed, man.
I know.
Like, how much money do you need, really?
Exactly. And it's so funny because all of these people that are hiding this money in offshore accounts illegally.
Yeah.
I'm not saying everyone's doing it illegally, but the people that are the ones that could actually afford to pay their fair share of tax.
That's what I'm saying.
Like, it's just greedy. It's just greedy. It's like so frustrating. And, you know.
And like, what do they do? So they keep it there. And then what? Like, they just save it for a rainy day? Or is it for their kids? Like, what is it for?
No idea. I think that they put it in like trust accounts. They do all sorts of weird stuff over there.
And then they just like, what if they need to like spend it? Like, do they spend it? How does that work?
I'm not an expert in illegal tax evasion, Rose. When I finish that course that I'm taking, I'll let you know.
Well, it's like, you know, it's like that. I don't know if we talked about this, but like Pablo Escobar, like when I watched Narcos, I was like just shocked. Like, I knew that these people make so much money.
Yeah.
But like they were saying how he has so much money that like there's probably money still buried somewhere that he, like, you know, because he
doesn't even know where it is.
And he never even probably knew where it was. And I'm thinking like, why are you like, at what point do you stop?
Oh God, I cannot wait for you to finish the rest of Squid Game anyway.
Daniel, you're giving things away.
I'm not giving anything away.
You're giving things away.
I'm not giving anything away.
But it's like, you know, I mean, how, like, I know that we talked about it and you said it's like a power thing as well.
Yeah.
It's not about the money, but at the same time, it's like, I mean, like it has to be about the money to some degree.
Yeah. And I think you do think like eventually at some point, but I guess I'm not in, like, neither of us are in that category of like just so much wealth,
but it's like
that we don't even know what to do with it.
That's the thing. I mean, I think before I got to that point, I would probably already get bored of being like, oh my God, I have so much money now. You know what I mean? It's like, it becomes less of the more you have of money, it becomes less valuable.
100%.
Right?
Because think about it, like even just your day to day, like there's only so many times you can go out for dinner in a day.
There's only so many private jets you can buy.
Exactly. There's only so much. And eventually you're just kind of like, okay, well, and that part of the issue though with this, and I think this summed it up really well when they were saying, you know, obviously the people that can change this are quite often they themselves benefiting from it. And I think
that's the biggest issue.
It is a huge issue.
Yeah.
And I think
it's the same thing with like, you know, in Colombia, for example, like the police officers that are supposed to be catching the criminals are also like, I shouldn't maybe just use Colombia as an example,
There's
but because of
Narcos,
because of Narcos, I just thought of Colombia. But anyway, but those countries where it's like police officers get bribed and then they're in on it.
Exactly.
So nothing ever gets changed.
Well, exactly. And that's part of the problem. The issue partially is the people that are doing this, but that are doing that, but then also the system exists for them to be able to do it.
Exactly. So because who makes the system?
Exactly. So if that system wasn't in place, people wouldn't be able to put money into offshore accounts.
Yeah.
Or they wouldn't be able to do it illegally, or there would be more connection between, you know, and for some of these countries like that have this kind of tax haven status, that's a huge benefit to their economy, right? Like they're bringing tons of money and wealth in.
Right.
And, you know, so they're not incentivized.
And then I guess they use that money to like build shit or do shit. I don't know. How does money work, my friends?
Oh God. damn, Rose, that'd be the age-old
I
question.
still don't fucking know how it works, okay? I took finance class, and I was like, I did well in it, but I was like, I don't actually understand the logic of this.
Well, it gets so crazy and complicated.
Right?
And
it's
I'm like,
inflation. It's when they print too much money. I'm like, so we can just like print money?
Yeah. It gets, it's even like, when you talk about like stocks and shares and shorting the stock and doing all this stuff, it starts to get so complex and so like layered that I feel like even the people working in finance, some of them don't know what's going on.
That's what I'm saying. It's
like
so complicated.
They were saying during, like the financial markets crash.
Yeah.
I watched the Big Short,
Yes.
And they were saying like a lot of people like didn't know what was going on. Like they were just like clueless.
Even when they were explaining it, I'm sure everyone was like, what are they even saying?
Exactly. They were like, you're buying a credit swap on like this and this or like I don't know. It was just
I think they make it complicated on purpose.
100%. The more complicated, like does finance and money really have to be that complicated?
I know. I mean, why can't we go back to the times when it was like, hi, here's my like spoon. I'll trade it for a fork. I don't know. You know what I mean? Okay. Here's some salt. You know.
Oh god damn, Rose! It's because we do need to have a common currency.
Well, salt was a currency for a while, wasn't it?
Damn,
I think so. Like back in the olden days, salt was very valuable, Daniel.
Was it?
Salt is the essence of life.
So people hoarded it.
I don't know exactly. Okay, I'm pretty sure because salt was, if you're like nutrient deficient, I might be making this up.
Yeah.
But if you're like nutriently deficient, salt is very like,
So back then you had salt,
I'm going to Google this.
Saltillionaires.
I don't know.
They were millionaires of salt.
I might be totally making this
I think you might be, Rose. I've never heard this before in my entire life.
Was salt used as currency? Salt was used as currency in ancient Rome. I was right. And the root of the words soldier and salary can be traced to Latin words related to giving or receiving salt. There you go.
You'd be crazy as hell. Well, I stand corrected, guys.
Why was salt so valuable? It helped eliminate... this is why. It helped eliminate dependence on seasonal availability of food because salt is used as a...
Pickling.
Not just pickling, but it's a...
Preservative.
Yes, there you go. There you go. Yes. Okay. See, back in the day when they didn't have like fridges, salt was it made possible to transport food over large distances, but it was difficult to obtain. So it was a highly valued trade item and was considered a form of currency by certain people.
Interesting.
Owned.
Think about that's like, when you make kimchi.
Yes.
You put salt in there.
This is why Korean people ferment a lot of shit.
Yeah. Okay.
Because it was like a preservative. They didn't have fridges until like recent years.
Yeah.
Imagine that.
That's kind of crazy. Eh?
I know, right? People they were very creative back in the day, right? We've lost all creativity because now we have all this shit.
It's crazy when you think about it. Like just even like 50 years, well, maybe not 50, but like 100 years ago. Yeah. It's like half this stuff in this house would not be here.
Even 50. Like, think about it. Like,
I probably wouldn't be living in a skyscraper.
I know, right? Isn't that crazy?
Like
my parents were young. We had, there was not many buildings and shit.
Yeah. But even think about Calgary. It's like how much Calgary's changed.
I know.
And how many skyscrapers we have here now.
I know.
It wasn't like that before like the 1950s.
I know. It's kind of crazy.
Like it's insane.
I know.
Like just to see where we've
and I love how we're so old that we still think 50 years ago was 1950. That was 7 years ago, Daniel. Can you believe it?
I knew that was 7 years ago. I just said 1950 as an example.
I know, but you said 50 years ago, and then you said 1950. Well, I do this all the time where I'm like, yeah, it was like 30 years ago, and it was like 1970. And I'm like, so actually, that was like 50 years ago.
That was 50 years ago.
And I'm still thinking the 1990s was about 20 years ago, and it was 30 years ago.
Oh, God damn, Rose. Does that mean when we get to 1930...
1930.
That means 1980 would be 50 years ago.
I don't even know what you're saying.
Not 1930, 2030.
Okay, I was like, what are you saying?
I was like trying to think, and I was like, oh my God, like, we?
You know what I mean? Like 90s feels like it was 20 years ago.
We're close to 40.
Daniel, I do not need depressing thoughts right now.
This is true. No, we're not.
Anyway, no, not that there's anything wrong with 40. 40 is the new 30, and we're still grown children, and that's acceptable in today's society.
I mean, we're so grown children that my parents are coming to pick us up after this and dropping Rose off at her house.
we are just financially smart people, okay?
Yeah, I guess financially savvy-ish.
Yes, frugal might be the better term.
I know, because
Anyway, we're not going to get into that.
We won't, because we're going to talk about the next story.
Okay, wait, but who got outed? Do we know? Are there big names? I mean, I honestly think anyone that's like has like a substantial amount of wealth is probably doing the same thing.
Yeah, no. Well, this is part of the problem because I think imagine, okay, and I'm not saying this is everyone. I don't want to rid people of some guilt.
Yes.
But like for example, if I'm a very wealthy individual, I seek financial advice. Right? I have a financial advisor. I have a legal team. I have all of this stuff to help me manage my money. And a lot of the time, it might be not a lot of the time, but some cases might be like if you became really rich and famous or whatever, and then somebody's managing your money, your financial advisor might say, hey, saying it's a legal loophole to say, hey, you should probably actually put some of your funds offshore.
Aren't some of these legal though?
Yeah,
right?
some of them are legal, like loopholes.
Technically, right?
Yes.
They're loopholes.
Yeah, there are loopholes that are legal. But part of the part that makes it illegal is like if you're not declaring this to your home country, right? Like because think about it, like if you open up a bank account in another country, like this is one of the issues I think with the financial system is like a lot of the countries like don't really talk to each other.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Like, and I think not a perfect example.
And you shouldn't be allowed to open up bank accounts in random countries if you don't talk to each other like that.
Exactly.
Without declaring something.
Well, I think it's even like, I remember when I went to the UK, lived over there, had a credit card over there, everything, just like lived my life, came back to Canada and have like a gap in my credit history because they don't have my credit history from the UK. So it just, again, not saying that they necessarily should, but it just shows you how disjointed it is.
Sure.
Right? Like for example, if I was living in the UK and I claimed bankruptcy there or something and had a horrible situation, then moved to Canada,
you'd be wiped clean.
Exactly. Oh. So
good idea, Daniel. Should we move?
Shall I claim bankruptcy here? God damn. But these are just some examples of how like disconnected it is. You know? So, and I think and these are countries that are not tax havens. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So imagine if I had opened up a bank account in the Bahamas or something.
Right.
Or I don't know. I think Bermuda's one. Yeah. Like it's all.
So basically, the point is, if we're in that group, right? I think here's the thing. This is why it's hard to paint people in a. I don't want to say everyone's evil. Okay. Yeah. But it's hard when you're out of that, you can see the fault.
Exactly.
But then if you're in that, like if you're a rich person with financial advisors, they will tell you this is what everyone else is doing.
Exactly.
This is what you should do if you're smart.
Exactly.
Because that's what everyone's doing. If you don't do it, you're going to lose money.
Exactly. It's kind of like that, with the university scandal in the US.
Right.
Do you remember when they were going up to people and they were very convincing? That guy was like, oh, everybody's doing this.
Exactly.
This is a legal way to get, like, it's a legal backdoor, when everything he was doing was a scam.
Right.
But he was telling a lot of people like this is, and it was a bit shady. Like people you would think, but again, he's like, don't you want the best for your children?
Exactly.
Like, don't you want, so they hit people like that. So I feel like you're right. Like, in many ways, it's hard for us to judge because we're not there. You know what I mean? And
like, who knows? Like, are we going to become like that if we get there?
Exactly. Well,
let's hope not. But
but this is it, right? Like, this is, and so I think the issue is that these loopholes exist in the first place. Like, it shouldn't be.
Exactly. It shouldn't even be allowed, right? Like, the fact that this exists, again, don't hate the player, hate the system, hate the game, right? Like, it's
exactly.
Oh God.
It gets crazy as hell.
I mean, don't worry because I ain't gonna be no billionaire, okay?
Well, they were saying too, that's part of the problem with a lot of like tax legislation and all of this stuff that's going on right now is like it's not keeping up with how fast the world's growing. The world is becoming more and more international. It's super easy to move money around to different countries now. Like it's unless the like governments and whatever have a way to kind of like
keep up,
sure, they're never going to be able to catch up.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? Because now it's like, there's new apps now that you can just easily transfer money from like Canada to any country you want practically. Like
and there's like cryptocurrencies, which I don't understand.
Oh God, the crypto stuff. I
don't even.
I wish I could understand it.
I don't care at this point.
I know, but like I feel like we should, because what if it's the new big thing, Rose?
Well, I think money's already complicated enough. Okay.
I know.
Investing is as far as I can go. Okay. Yeah. Crypto, no, can't do it.
I heard that there's like even like you can get a crypto card now and like pay with it.
Oh God, you know what? Maybe one day when I have to learn it, I'll learn it.
Okay,
but
Grandma.
Excuse me, Daniel.
So basically, the Canadians that were like leaked in this, I don't
know who these people.
I don't know who they are. Yeah, they're like famous like athletes.
Oh, they're like famous athletes.
Yeah. Again, I don't know who any of these people are, but. Anyway, politicians, all sorts of people were on this list.
Fun times, guys.
Yeah. Good times.
Fun times. Get yourself a good lawyer if you're a rich person. That's
well, they have the money for a good lawyer, so it doesn't.
That's the thing. They're gonna get a slap on the wrist.
And that brings us to our next story.
Oh, what?
A slap on the wrist. So,
what is going on? What is this?
Okay. So do you remember
the Robinhood?
Yes, the Robinhood scandal.
Okay, let's give a little
So
rundown.
basically, earlier this year, there was this amazing story. And it's so funny that this app is called Robinhood because it was like went against what Robinhood like stands for. Because, you know, Robinhood is like take from the rich, give to the poor, right?
Okay, I don't really know the Robinhood story, but yes, he's like a hero. He's like
an unsung hero.
Sure.
Well, it's debatable. Some people, anyway.
Okay.
But that's the premise of Robinhood. Take from the rich, give to the poor, I think it was. But anyway.
But they took from the poor.
Well.
Is that what you be saying?
This isn't exactly what happened, but basically earlier this year, there was that huge scandal or this huge thing that happened with particularly one company called GameStop.
Yes.
But it was like basically a bunch of investors, like small time investors, like people like me and Rose. We weren't necessarily invested in this, but like everyday people, you know what I mean? That happened to have the Robinhood app.
Yeah, which is a money trading app.
Yeah, you can buy shares.
It's an investing app.
Yeah,
sure.
So you can buy shares of companies. You can sell shares. It's like a lot of these. Like, there's a lot more of these discount broker apps opening up. So where you can we have it in Canada, like Wealth Simple, Quest Trade. These are all kind of like discount brokers where you can just buy company shares. Everyday people can. So anyway, what had happened was a bunch of people got together on Reddit, and they had seen how there was a bunch of hedge funds that were basically betting on GameStop to lose, not to lose, but they were betting that the GameStop shares were going to crash, and they were like driving the price of this stock into the ground, and they bet against it. So these guys got together, a bunch of people, and they said, you know what?
Let's screw over the hedge fund managers.
Screw over these hedge fund managers, which, drive a lot of companies' value to the ground by,
and they do it on purpose. It's like a rigged system, essentially.
It is a rigged system because they'll release their analyst reports as to which companies they're shorting. Other companies will follow. So it's kind of like almost like it is a rigged game. So they didn't really do anything like inherently wrong. Like you're not,
because they did exactly what hedge fund managers do.
Exactly. They said, hey, I'm going to buy this stock.
Right.
So all these people got together. Everyone started buying GameStop shares, literally drove the price of the stock through the roof. Like it went from like, I can't remember at the time, it was like $30 to like $400 a share.
Yeah, it was ridiculous.
And people were like, the whole investing community was like getting up in arms because they're like, this you shouldn't buy this stock because it's not about the it's not following the fundamentals of what a share price should represent, which is a company's value technically.
Okay.
And these hedge funds were literally bleeding money.
Yeah.
So something happened where basically Robinhood was one of the the app that people were buying these shares on. Robinhood decided on January 28th to restrict certain shares.
Right.
So GameStop, AMC was one, Nokia, and BlackBerry. And what they did is they restricted their users to only being able to sell the shares, not buy them.
Right. Essentially making it not fair.
Exactly. So essentially what that would do is technically if you have lots of sellers on the market and not as many buyers, it's going to drive the price down, right?
Yeah.
So that was kind of like, and people were up in arms and they were saying like, this is crazy. Like they're trying to rig the market. And Robinhood had said, and again, this gets a bit more complex than my understanding, but Robinhood had said because of the volatility of the stock, they were on the hook to for a huge amount of loss if they weren't able to cover the trade.
Okay.
Again, don't know how it fully works, but that was their argument as to why they had to restrict these shares. So recently, there's been more scandal that has come out. Yeah. So there's been a few, I guess, some complaints that people have gotten some lawyers involved. And because again, after all of this like scandal that had happened with Robinhood, it was like nothing seemed to really happen. Do you know what I mean? Like again, they were kind of like, I don't know, maybe you guys know of some stories that happened after. I haven't heard too much about it, but I guess the lawyers, like in the lawyers' original, there was a complaint filed against Robinhood and also Citadel Securities, saying that Citadel Securities kind of like executes a lot of the buys for Robinhood.
Okay.
And they said, and also is linked to a lot of the hedge funds.
Okay.
And they said that Citadel Securities, they're accusing them of pressuring Robinhood to restrict the trading of the stock back in January. So
so they were, that's scandalous.
Yes. So they were saying that the move crippled the trading power of small investors, given that other brokerage services were still trading the stocks. So if you restrict a big group of small investors to sell only, again, you're driving the price down, right?
Which basically you're rigging the market, right?
Well, 100%. It's market manipulation.
Yeah.
Which they shouldn't be allowed to do.
Technically, even though everything is market manipulation.
Yeah, and when you listen to this, Citadel Securities which is a subsidiary of the hedge fund Citadel.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
So they were shorting the GameStop.
And they even helped bail out some of the short sellers, I guess, during this whole like kind of frenzy and stuff. It's just crazy. It's crazy.
As soon as they lose, all of a sudden, they have all of these measures. But when they're winning and they're fucking over other people.
But this is it, right? This was the whole scandal back in January as well. People were up in arms when this happened. Because they were like, this is not fair. We're literally doing exactly what hedge fund managers do all the time.
And that was the whole point, right? They were trying to like prove to the hedge fund managers that this is exactly what you do.
It's a rigged game. And as soon as that happened, and actually I do think
it proves.
This just proves it. Again, guys, we don't know what the outcome of this like legal case is going to be, but you know, it's happening right now. So I guess Citadel's could be potentially in some trouble. I mean, they'll probably just get a slap on the wrist.
I mean, probably. Because that's like very illegal, isn't it?
Hugely illegal. Yeah. But again, I'm surprised like this only coming out now.
Yeah.
Because it was quite like, it was very strange what was blaming
Yeah.
Now,
okay. Yeah.
On top of this, in this lawsuit, which gets even more interesting.
Oh God.
They're blaming, not blaming, but they're saying about how, you know, Citadel was, you know, pressured Robinhood. They also said during this time, which makes it even seem a bit more shady. Like this is bad. So they also filed a complaint against the Robinhood's chief operating officer, saying that he was in possession of like not public information, and he 2 days before Robinhood restricted the stocks from to sell only, had commented internally that he was selling all of his AMC shares. So he was like, guys, I'm selling all of my AMC shares. And then he said, FYI, and this is very ambiguous, so people don't know exactly what he was meaning. Tomorrow morning, we are moving GameStop to 100%, so you are aware. This was 2 days before they restricted it from trading.
What does that mean?
I know. It's very strange. But he also said about...
But he's like giving hints, essentially?
And he said he sold his AMC on the 26th, which was 2 days before they restricted it from selling.
Right.
Or restricted from buying, sorry. So that it would have driven the price down. So it's like he sold 2 days before the price
Probably
tanked.
Knowing that he was going to...
Well, he's the COO of Robinhood. He probably knew that was coming in the next couple of days.
Right.
So that coupled with potential market manipulation, you see their COO. This is not looking good.
No, it's not.
You know, but again, it's like emphasizing and just so frustrating that, you know, it's what? We're in October now. It's almost been a year since it happened.
When did this happen? January?
January. It was in January.
God.
So... And I think actually now that I'm reflecting on it, I seem to recall reading an article that actually there was a lawsuit going on against some of the Reddit individuals. Like the hedge funds were going to try to sue like some of the Reddit guys to say that they were doing market manipulation themselves.
So who's the one suing? Like obviously this is like a lawsuit, right?
Yeah.
So who's suing? They're obviously suing like Robinhood maybe and Citadel Securities.
Yeah. It sounds like, well,
Is it like a group of the...
I think it's a group of individuals. It didn't.
What is it called? A class action lawsuit?
Yeah, maybe
is that what
class
it's
action.
called?
It could be.
Anyway, guys, I don't know anything, but I mean, this is... Oh God. I mean, the fact is that they are definitely just going to get a slap on the wrist, probably.
Yeah.
Because like, isn't that what happened with the financial crisis?
This is one thing that's frustrating, guys. Like, and we see this time and time again. It's just like, you know, again, I wouldn't have an issue if a lot of these corporations were held to the same standards as everyone else. You know what I mean? Like if you're manipulating the markets, you're doing illegal shit, like you should pay the consequences.
Yeah.
Like, you shouldn't be allowed to sugarcoat it. It's like, you know, in circumstances where you see companies doing horrible things, getting away with it, and you know, everybody walking away relatively scot-free.
I mean, I think in the financial crisis, I think like they got bailed out, didn't they?
A lot of companies did.
Yeah, the same people that like fucked it up got bailed out.
Well, this was the interesting argument about that, because a lot of these companies were pleading to the government, and they were saying, hey, like, you know, if you don't bail us out, we're gonna go under, and millions of people are gonna like lose money and their jobs. It's in your best interest to help us out here. And this is what's so funny about this whole situation, and we talked about this before, how these companies are so quick to be like, gimme.
Yeah.
And then as soon as it's time to pay taxes, it's like, oh, actually I've somehow siphoned my profits to the Cayman Islands, even though I don't have a head office there, and I'm not going to pay any taxes.
Oh God, why do we live in this world?
It's just crazy. And actually, to that point though, I think not enough governments are doing stuff, but I remember there was a story that happened, I think earlier this year, or I think it was last year, where Richard Branson's company,
Virgin,
famously, the Virgin Airlines had famously asked the government for a bailout.
Yeah, didn't he like apply for some?
Yeah, he asked for like some kind of wage
during
subsidy.
COVID.
Yeah, during COVID. Obviously, the airlines were suffering and whatever else. And I think the response from the government was like, I think you and your, billionaire shareholders can dig into your own pockets. You've already made billions from this company.
The Cayman Islands.
Exactly. And dig into your own pockets. You've made billions of dollars from this company and reinvest. Because that's part of capitalism. Like, you know what I know.
Mean? Like, why should, he is literally a billionaire, this man.
I know.
And he has so much money.
I think
the audacity.
I know. I think the ask was like for 250 or 300. Don't quote me on this, guys. Like 300 million or something like that. Yeah,
something crazy.
And they were like, well, if you paid it yourself, you would still be a multi-billionaire. Like, and
that's insane.
And you're asking for taxpayers to bail you out.
I know. That's fucking like crazy.
People like us paying our taxes, bailing out people that have multiple islands. Like,
who's doing this? Who is making these decisions?
I don't know.
Because, like, you know what? Like, when you see Richard Branson in, like, I saw him on, like, Shark Tanks and stuff. Yeah. He seems like a nice person. Yeah. That's what's scary. They all look normal and they seem very nice.
I know.
But then behind the scenes, like, some shit is happening. Like, they're having these discussions that we're never invited to.
Exactly.
And then we don't know what the fuck's happening.
Well, and that's what they were saying again. One of the arguments of a lot of these, like, hedge fund managers is technically you're not supposed to do market manipulation and stuff, right? But how easy is it? Especially like a lot of these companies, they like, they'll have their like private dinners somewhere or like, you know what I mean? And nobody knows what goes on.
Right.
Like how easy would it be to just randomly meet somebody privately and tell them everything,
God damn.
And be a whistleblower.
God damn.
But anyway, so that's what's going on. It's going to be interesting to see what the actual outcome of this case is. I don't have high hopes.
No.
I'm not going to lie, guys.
I really
Unfortunately,
don't. They have so much money and power. These people, all they're doing is just like playing around with like arbitrary numbers.
I know. Well, that's
like, isn't that crazy?
It is.
These are the most powerful people in our world right now. This is what's insane, right? We have people that are like fighting crime, fucking, people putting out fires, saving lives. And the most powerful people in the world are the ones just sitting on their computer, fucking manipulating the market and just sending over their money to the fucking, overseas accounts.
Yeah.
That's what's fucking insane. What kind of world have we created?
I know, guys.
We're paying our police officers like nothing. Which is probably why they, a lot of them get, bribed and shit,
Well, this is it. This is
so many problems.
So many. And that actually, like, it does beg to question. It's like people that are like police officers, like,
even teachers,
doctors,
nurses,
teachers, all of these people. Like, and we as society have said, hey, we actually value another person. Not that saying that we value their job more, but they get more
financial
incentives.
And that's how we kind of put value in human beings, which is another fucked up thing, right? Like we shouldn't put value in,
so many analogies in Squid Game.
Oh, God damn, Daniel, I need to watch it.
God damn.
I think I'm going to watch it tonight, and I think I'm going to finish it tonight. But also, it's like a lot of anxiety.
It is. Oh, my God.
When I watch it, it's like so intense. Like, I feel like it's not, like, it's like a lot of stress on my body.
Oh, God. In the next couple of games,
oh,
Rose.
God, Daniel.
Oh, God.
You keep telling me that.
You think Tug of War was bad.
Oh, God.
That ain't got nothing.
Oh, God. It was so bad.
Sorry, guys. That was a little spoiler. I do apologize. Our last story to finish up the...
Oh, we gonna talk about Britney.
Oh, goddamn. Britney Spears.
Britney Spears. What be going on with Britney Spears?
So much. Oh, there's a new documentary on Netflix.
I know. I need to watch that as well.
Yeah.
Have you watched it? And
I don't know how I've like managed to watch all of Squid Game and this documentary.
Like I said, Daniel, I think you're a bit of a couch potato.
You be I'm nasty just joking. As hell, Rose.
I'm joking, but you do watch quite a lot of Netflix.
I do not, Rose. I go in spurts. So like there'll be like a week where I'm like not watching any.
And then a week where you watch everything.
Well, like because also like I'll finish cooking, doing my shit at like maybe around like 9:30. And then I'll watch Netflix.
Smoke some weed.
Yeah.
So tell me about Britney Spears documentary. Is it sad? It looks really sad.
It was sad. It was really, really sad. The thing is, the last couple documentaries she hasn't been part of, right? So I don't know. Again, it's a lot of people's like say on, her situation. So
she's not part of this one as well. God
but they have voice clippings. So they have the whole, when she famously did the this year when she talked to the courts finally.
Sure, yeah.
And said about how she's I say finally. There's actually they had other audio of her talking to the courts before about of her situation.
Who is making these documentaries? Is she okaying this? This is another thing.
Yeah, I don't know if she's necessarily okaying
like
it.
How this is another thing. Like, I'm still like, I'm just putting myself in her position.
Yeah.
I'm still alive. I'm still very much here. And then people are just making documentaries about me left, right, and center, not asking me to be a part of it.
Yeah.
What the fuck? Imagine if somebody made a documentary about your life and you were not a part of it.
Well, I would be pissed.
So that's another kind of like,
it's a bit icky.
So anyway, tell me.
But yeah, so it's really bad. Like, you just kind of overall you realize, like, and I think maybe I was naive in thinking this, but you know, from like when she was in the conservatorship at the beginning, I think it was like 2008 when it first happened.
God,
so it was like
so long ago,
13 years ago. And in the beginning, it seemed like, because you know she's going through her like mental breakdown, all this stuff, and when she was first in this conservatorship, and again, guys, like, I don't know what's going on behind the scenes, right? It seemed like she was getting better, right? Because all of a sudden, again,
all of a sudden she's a judge on fucking Judge Factor.
Judge Factor, Rose.
X Factor.
Yeah, she was a judge on X Factor. She was doing all this stuff, and then
putting out albums and shit.
But then you start to realize that all of that stuff that was going on, she was like forced to do.
That's
so
crazy.
Like, you know, and the kind of like threats that went on according to this documentary and stuff behind the scenes was like, you know, threatening to basically, you know, she wouldn't be able to see her kids, all of this stuff, like really controlling her to the point, like, and it seemed like she was like crying out for help so many times.
Right.
Maybe not vocally on Instagram, but like trying her own little ways. There was a point where actually one of the people that was making this documentary actually met, I can't remember exactly how this happened, guys, but she met Britney Spears in like a bathroom somewhere for her to like Britney Spears to sign a document to get her out of the conservatorship or something.
Okay.
This was years ago.
Okay.
And I guess the courts wouldn't like take the document or something because they were like, it doesn't seem like her signature, whatever. But that was talked about in the documentary as well. Again, I don't know how much of it is true.
Yeah.
So there could be some like fabrications, but they definitely had like voice clips of her back in like 2009 asking about getting out of a conservatorship and stuff.
My God.
So like, it's so sad. And yeah, I don't know.
This like, it's crazy.
The whole situation, that's weird too, because they were interviewing other lawyers that take place in like not conservatorships, but like know a lot about them. And the one lawyer that was commenting, he's like, all the conservatorships that I've been involved with, none of the conservatee, I think it's called, the person like Britney, none of them were working. Like, for example,
the thing. Well, that makes no sense, right?
Yeah.
Like, because the whole point of the conservatorship is that you're not supposed to be able to like take care of your own money.
Exactly. Or take care of yourself.
If you're working,
yeah.
And like you're cognitively, you know, like you're able to work like that, and it's not just like you're not like, I don't know, picking up trash. Like she's like doing like, you know,
tours and
shit.
Well, like, and this is the whole argument too. Like throughout this documentary. Well, there's the fact that she's working, but also the fact that we'll call it Britney Spears Corp. Employed loads of people,
right? Under her name,
a shitload of people made money, and then on top of this, like a lot of the things that she was doing, like in a normal conservatorship, the medical team or whoever else probably wouldn't okay it, like going on tour, doing all this stuff. These are high stress situations for people. It's like someone that's in a conservatorship should not be doing that.
Yeah,
you know, and it's like.
I know, it's insane. It's insane.
The whole situation's crazy.
So what's the update, Daniel?
So the update is here. So this is an interesting one. And again, guys, I don't know. So I'm not an expert on this, so I don't really know the full ins and outs. And I don't know what's going on with Britney and her dad. But this is a little bit shady.
Okay.
So
it's shady.
Yeah. So basically, I guess Jamie Spears is now suspended from the conservatorship.
Jamie Spears is her father?
That's correct.
Okay.
Yeah. So basically, he's suspended. So he's no longer, you know, part of the conservatorship. And hang on, I just want to read this one part where it was like, blah, 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 blah. Oh, yeah. So apparently in early September, and actually I think we'd seen this, Jamie Spears himself had petitioned to end the conservatorship.
Okay.
Completely. He was like entirely, which his daughter had previously expressed interest in. At the time, however, I guess Britney's legal representation only wanted to get Jamie off the conservatorship.
Okay.
Now, I guess her lawyer claimed that by Jamie trying to completely revoke the conservatorship was his way of trying to avoid having to hand over court records tied to the arrangement. So he's saying that Jamie. So at first you're like, oh, it seems like her dad's doing something really nice because he was like, let's end the conservatorship completely. Right now, let's do it. But the lawyer is saying if he did that, then a lot of the like documents that the legal team wants to see, like a decade's worth of finances and all of this stuff. I guess if the conservatorship ended, they wouldn't necessarily have to hand them over and stuff.
Right.
But if they just remove him off the conservatorship,
they can look at all the documents.
They can go through everything.
Right.
So I think that there's going to be...
So now what?
I don't know what's going to happen.
So they didn't... That's why they didn't end the conservatorship?
Right now. I think that they've removed he's been removed from his role, which means that, I mean, I'm hoping whoever's in his place or whatever, they can start going through some of the... Like Britney's legal team can start going through some of the shit that's going on. And I think it's going to end... like guys, my prediction
be fucking crazy
because we're probably gonna like I think Jamie Spears himself probably is like shitting himself because he's probably like fuck him and everyone else who was involved with this
because there's probably some shady ass shit going down.
Oh, and you can bet he's made a shitload of money over these last 13 years.
It's his daughter. I don't fucking get this. Like, how do you do this to your own child?
It's horrible.
Like, for some money, she probably would have given you a bunch of money anyway. This is what's insane.
I know.
Like, you're already probably rich anyways by having Britney Spears as your fucking daughter.
Oh yeah, of course. Like her parents probably have like no mortgage on their house. Like,
exactly.
Do you know what I mean? Like
this is what's crazy. Like I don't get it, but like, oh my God, I want to know what the fuck is in those documents.
Me too. It is going to be so interesting to find out. I mean, probably a lot of it's not. We're not going to be privy to that information, right? Yeah. But I mean, there's going to be headlines for sure.
Oh God!
And I think a lot of people are going to, have some legal consequences. At least I hope, because they, illegally keeping someone in a conservatorship, manipulating somebody. Like this is like grounds for like serious.
And she was on
abuse.
some kind of hard drugs.
Oh yeah,
Well,
they had her on all sorts of medications and all sorts of things and threatening to like, and this is so sad. Like it's her family. Do you know what I mean?
That's what's like so sad to me. It's like, you wouldn't expect your family like to do that to you.
Yeah.
And like the way that she talked about her dad, like in that like court hearing or whatever, I was like, that is just heartbreaking. It's
so sad because how do you trust anyone? Like your parents are supposed to be people that you are able to trust.
I know. And like you probably already don't trust most people.
Exactly. Like, God. And then to have this happen, it's just like, well, this whole situation, I mean, it's I just can't believe it's gone on for so long.
I know. And how is this now happening? Like,
I know. Like it does make you wonder, but then again, like I think who like her father and all the people that were involved with this, like they were very good at manipulation.
Yeah, but
like
another question is, I know that there was like that movement of the Free Britney movement that happened before this like huge craze, right?
Yeah, but it was only a couple of years ago for Free Britney.
But how did people find out about that?
I think part of it was like there's been like hearings for this conservatorship for a while.
Okay.
Like I know there's been like I don't know because there's like I think maybe conservatorships get renewed or whatever it may be, and people started to get on this like bandwagon, and I can't remember the exactly like we should Google actually.
Is it because of like her Instagram posts and stuff?
Well,
I think that's where it grew.
Yeah.
Like the hype grew because she was posting all these weird things on Instagram.
Yeah.
And she still is, by the way. What's going on? Like somebody needs to take her phone away from her.
Oh my God, I know.
Like I don't know what's going on, but like, she needs to like.
Oh, okay. So apparently, guys, according to a very reliable source, I'm just kidding. I just went on Wikipedia, but it just says about Free Britney, and it just said it was a social movement to grant Britney Spears autonomy from her ongoing conservatorship. The movement became popular in 2019, so just a couple years ago. Okay. After the emergence of allegations involving Spears' time in a psychiatric facility. Oh. Which was actually confirmed by Spears herself.
Right.
Remember when she did that audio this year?
Sure.
She mentioned about how they, for like a month or something, they had her in like a psychiatric facility against her will.
Oh. God,
like it's just this is like
crazy.
This is like it's like a movie.
It is. They could make a movie out of this.
They probably will.
Oh shit!
There'll probably be like a docu series or something, about Britney Spears' life because I feel like it's crazy.
It is absolutely crazy. I can't believe this was our pop star, guys. This is the pop queen.
Yeah,
the princess of pop.
Princess of pop, guys.
She's been treated like this.
I know. It will be. I would not be fascinated, but partially be fascinated as well to be a fly on the wall and see what's all happened behind the scenes. Not even just this whole situation.
I know, guys.
Privy to the conversations.
Crazy.
Everything. It's some crazy shit, guys.
So moral of the story, guys, don't get famous.
Yeah,
people will take fucking advantage of you, even like your father and your mother and your sister.
It's so sad. Like that's the worst part about this whole story is the fact that it's her father.
And I feel like this poor girl just got taken advantage of by like everybody,
Yeah.
She married the fucking Kevin Federline. Pretty sure like the amount of custody she's like not custody, child support she's paying is like he like never has to work a day in his life, basically, because he had like a bunch of babies with her.
Yeah.
You know, imagine.
It's crazy.
Uh-huh.
It's crazy, guys. And I just really hope that, you know, it comes to light, everything that happened.
Yeah.
And the people that were responsible pay the price.
And I hope she gets some help, man.
Yeah.
And I hope she gets good, you know?
She needs to get some, you know, I would imagine anybody after going through this
major therapy
would need therapy. Yeah. Because this is not something that you can just walk away from lightly.
Oh my God, no kidding.
Like you are literally been a prisoner for 13 years.
Oh my God, that's fucking crazy.
It's insane. Even in that documentary talks about how she like didn't want to do like the Vegas residency, all of this stuff, but she's been like forced upon time and time again.
You know, this is what's so like fascinating is like, there's so many people that went to that Vegas show, I'm sure.
Oh yeah.
But imagine like seeing that and then seeing the documentary being like, I never wanted to do this.
Yeah.
It was like, that's kind of how I felt about it. Cause I saw Avicii like multiple times, like performing. And then I saw that documentary after he passed away. I saw that documentary about his,
so sad.
Oh my God, what was it called? Like something Avicii.
I can't remember.
Anyway, it was a Avicii documentary and it was made actually like before he actually passed away.
Yeah. The worst part is he was crying out for help so hard in that documentary. Like I remember there was
so sad.
So sad. There was one scene where he was with his like team.
Right.
And he was like, guys, like I'm not feeling well.
I don't want to perform.
I don't want to do this. And they're like, no, come on. Just do this show. You'll be fine.
Yeah.
Blah, 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 blah. And it just shows you like how, you know, and it does give you that weird dilemma. Like if you're on tour, for example, and all the people there are relying on you for income. And you're saying, oh, I really don't, guys. It creates a weird dilemma.
Right.
Because
you feel so bad, imagine.
Exactly. And you feel partially, you're like, okay, well, this is my ticket to buy groceries. Yeah. Versus like this person's well-being.
Yeah.
So it starts to get really like messy and convoluted, I think. And I think it's just, it's
so much pressure on one person.
Yeah.
Because like, yeah, so I was like, oh my God, like he hated performing. Like he had so much anxiety about performing. He didn't like, you know, you could kind of tell he was very introverted as well. Like he didn't like being in crowds. He just liked to like be, you know, making his music. Yeah. And then, but he was forced to perform like basically, because that's kind of like part of the gig, right? Like when you become a DJ or like a producer, you go to these shows and that's how you kind of become famous. And I saw so many of his shows. And then afterwards I was like, oh God, he like hated his life.
Yeah. It's so sad, guys.
Like, that's what's so sad. But you're right. Like when you are in that position and you're like the person that's supposed to like, you know, keep it going. Yeah. And then everyone's like, the whole reason for them being there is you. Yeah. God.
So they don't want you to, they're not going to be like, oh yeah, you should definitely not perform tonight.
Exactly. Oh yeah, take care of your mental health. It's like those like sports, those athletes like got so shit on because they were like, I can't do this. And people are like, oh my God, like people are relying on you. And it's like,
well, yeah, it was like that the famous US gymnast that was like, I can't compete in the Olympics. It's not good for my mental health.
And the people had a fucking meltdown.
And everyone's like, oh, she's taking that spot from other people, blah, 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 blah.
Even people that weren't on her payroll had a meltdown.
Yeah. And I was like, it just creates this like really weird dilemma. But you're right. Like even if you're like in that kind of like status and you're like, oh, I need to take 2 weeks off. Like I just need to for my own self. Everyone's gonna be like, well, no, I don't think you should.
Yeah, because you're supposed to be a performing monkey.
Exactly.
Apparently.
You have to perform all these shows or I don't get paid.
Exactly.
So, and I don't have a backup plan.
Oh God. See, that's another crazy thing.
Yeah. You're my gravy ticket.
God
damn. Yeah, it's bad, guys.
Anyway, so don't become famous. Don't become a famous DJ. Don't become a famous pop star.
No.
Just live your normal life. Trust me, you're probably happier that way.
Yeah.
And that's the moral of today's episode.
That is the moral of today's
episode. And now
episode.
I need to go watch Squid Game.
Yes. That's what's going to happen, guys. We recommend you highly to watch it immediately.
Oh my God.
Stop what you're doing. I will finish the podcast, obviously.
Yes, obviously.
Obviously. And then
join us on Patreon, Avi.
Yeah, and join us as well. So without further ado, guys, if you're watching us on YouTube, don't forget to hit that thumbs up button. Leave some comments in the comment section. Show us some love down there. Don't forget to hit follow on whatever podcast platform you're listening to the podcast on. And of course, as Rose mentioned, check us out on Patreon, patreon.com/the SaVeg podcast. There's exclusive content on there, guys. As we mentioned, we do a bonus episode every single month. You also get every single episode a week early, and it's all ad-free content. So you don't have to put up with those annoying ads because it's all ad-free, guys. And it's as little as $3 a month to join that little family.
Cheaper
in there.
than a Starbucks coffee.
Yeah, and you can engage with us, give us suggestions of episodes you want to see. That's all part of the Patreon community, so you can check that out over there. And also follow us on Instagram at the SaVeg Podcast.
Good job, Daniel. Yeah. That's a lot of plugs.
That is a lot of plugs. And
thank you so much for listening, my friends.
Thank you so much, guys.
And we will see you guys next week.
Bye.